in at the time.
Yeah.
Like we've only ever known Gogeta to go Super Saiyan and Super Saiyan 4, but both instances are non-canon. We've seen what's it called? Vegeta could just go Super Saiyan and pretty much handily beat a Mr. Gohan absorbed Super Buu.
Yeah, that
And you
was fucking ridiculous.
I didn't
it
get
was
to.
it was just so like, and
Can
you just
I?
got to compare it. I know movie timing and everything is movie to anime timing is different. They have to space the movie out quicker to make the fight seem, well, fit within the time frame. With the anime, they don't have that problem. But Vegito, like he's got Vegeta in him. He's got a potentially Super Saiyan 3 Goku in there.
I
I'm
actually have
fairly
to ask you
certain
a
he's
question.
capable of changing into a Super Saiyan 3, and in which case it's just like this isn't even funny anymore.
Hey, I have a question.
Okay.
What is Majin Jita about? Like,
Majin Vegeta?
Majin
yeah.
Vegeta, yeah, it's when Vegeta lets the wizard Babidi take control of his mind so that he can pretty much his power can I can't think of how to explain it. I guess the best way to
So he can
explain it,
use all of his untapped power.
it
That's where
kind of. It's kind of like when the Elder Namek put his hand on Gohan's head and
yeah,
pretty much
it
just unleashed his power
unlocks.
at that point. But
And
it's
then
weird. It's weird because it's almost as if he'd been training the same way he would have if, for example, he'd won on Earth. Like
Yeah.
he's still training to be much stronger to fight Frieza and everything like that. That's why he's so much more powerful. The difference is between the main timeline and Majin Vegeta. I know they're in the same timeline, but I'm just saying, for instance, the difference is that Vegeta settled down. He had a family. His heart was softened a lot by future Trunks and Bulma. That's why he's not as strong as he could potentially have been.
That's
dude.
That's the point behind Bobby.
Okay. I actually
Yeah,
do
that's
have a
why
good.
Bobby did that. Yeah.
Okay, something else I have to ask. Do you
Hmm?
think, and this is a conversation I recently
Okay.
saw, people seem to claim that Goku is a psychopath, which, in a sense, I can almost see it because he is a born killer that hit his head, so I can almost see why they say it. But what do you
No,
truly
no,
think?
I wouldn't say Goku is a psychopath. I'd say Kakarot is. That's
Yeah,
the name that
Kakarot himself. Like once
Yeah.
you get past about Super Saiyan 3 and then non-canon Super Saiyan 4, when he's in
Yeah,
those forms,
but even
that's
then
when
he messes-
Kakarot's like really out. That's
But
when
I want to explain what I mean. Okay, this is talking about, for instance, say Goku, well, Kakarot, never hit his head as a child.
He would have destroyed
This
the
is
Earth.
when, yeah, he would have been completely insane. Not so much insane, but he would have just been a Saiyan. Unless we're bringing Gine into this whole thing, well, that's a whole other topic. But like Kakarot would have been much different to Goku. He would have been kind of a psychopath, like Vegeta, Raditz.
he would have been much more like
That is true. Vegeta
He'd be
kind of
much
did
more
change.
like Raditz. He'd be much more like Raditz was when he came to Earth. But the fact that he hit his head, he pretty much forgot, well, kind of forgot everything. He didn't really know anything, but his nature was pretty much changed. And due to influence through people like Bulma, Grandpa Gohan, Master Roshi, Krillin, this built the character up to be the protagonist we know and love.
And what I mean by this conversation is it seems like people want to say he's a psychopath because he can leave his family in the bat of an eye and not care.
That's
and
the
then
difference. I can tell you why that is.
Well,
it's,
I
it's
know why.
It's
It's
Saiyan nature.
Yeah,
It's like,
exactly. He's
he
not
can-
family
he-
oriented.
It's no, that's Saiyans just in general. Like he's a good father for a Saiyan. That's what you've
That
got
is
to
true.
remember. Hell, Vegeta is a good father for a Saiyan.
Dude, in all honesty, Vegeta is an amazing father.
Kind of. He's a bit more. He's very strict. Doesn't put up with things. But I imagine in the clutch he would be there.
That is true. Now,
let me
but
just use my blank
but
paper.
another thing is people are like, he's a psychopath. He doesn't feel empathy, and then I'm like, I don't
Empathy?
think it's the case. I think it's that he looks at people all the same, where he wants to keep the world protected, rather than care about his
he does
family
what's
over
best
everything.
for the. He does what's best for the big picture rather than in the moment.
Because in all honesty,
Well, at the
I'm
end of
pretty
season,
sure.
he did.
I'm pretty sure if his family had been killed,
Hmm.
he would have
Yeah,
still
he-
gone on. I
He would have
honestly
gone
believe.
on, but it would have been much harder, and we'd have a different Goku. We'd have a much different
I'm
Goku.
pretty sure Because, in all honesty, people are like, Goku's just a childish person. I honestly believe the
He is.
real
He's
Goku.
very childish.
But the real
He's very
Goku always
childish.
comes
He can,
out.
he can be
when he
very
fights.
serious when the situation calls for it. Of course.
But that seems like that's how he is because
That's just
think
Toriyama
about
manga, though.
yeah, but think about how he
That's just the way
fights
he writes
people
his
though.
characters. That was
When
mainly.
he fights, he loses
Yeah.
that child nature. He gets serious and he's like he cares about the thrill of the battle
Of
rather
course,
than
because he's a Saiyan. But what you've got to remember is also this is not just his Saiyan nature. This is also added on through Master Roshi's training, through Grandpa Gohan, through Kami, through
etc.
through Korin, King Kai. They all taught him, like, you keep fighting, you keep training, you just keep improving. And if you find someone that you can't beat, for example, in Dragon Ball, Jackie Chun, as we know,
Jackie
is
Chan?
Master Roshi. Jackie Chun. It was Master Roshi in disguise. He put a wig on, and he fought Kid Goku in the World Martial Arts Tournament. And he entered so he could beat Goku, so he wouldn't win. That way, he'd keep training and just realize his potential. That's just the kind of thing that's.
Master Roshi really was a good person in all
He was,
honesty.
he is. He's just like, he may be a bit of a fucking ass, you know.
He's a pervert.
He is, but that's what
Well, a
we
lot
love
of
about
good
Roshi.
characters are perverts.
Yeah, that's true.
But that's what we love about Roshi. He's like, he doesn't.
He's got that comedical sense.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but like I know Gohan was kind of the father figure to Goku, but in his place, I'm fairly certain that Roshi did a really good job.
I will
Like,
have to say
He
this.
definitely cared for him.
I will have to say this. Welcome to the pub. Blah blah blah. It's late.
Don't open it
But yeah, and I completely agree. But there is another topic I wanted to bring out.
Okay.
Let's just think about this. And these are all topics that just like I started watching the series.
Spawned from
Me watching the series
conversations
again.
we're having, and yeah,
Okay. And this has been talked about before. But what
I'm
if?
sure it will have. Yep.
Oh, did they?
What if? You know how they killed Raditz, his brother?
Yeah.
What if Raditz never?
Came to Earth.
No, not.
What if they never killed Raditz? Is that what you're trying to say?
No. What if his mic was never on at the end of his death?
Then okay.
Because we have to assume Vegeta,
yeah, I know,
and then when it never came.
Eventually Nappa and Vegeta would have gotten suspicious, probably checked the coordinates to where his pod was. With the remnants of his pod after Gohan smashed through that fucker.
But they also wouldn't have prepared.
Yeah,
That's the thing.
They did prepare at first, but the thing is, when they went, they would go there. But the thing is, since his mic wasn't on, that means that Goku, Piccolo, Gohan, Krillin, Yamcha, Tien, Chaozu, they don't know the Saiyans are coming. It would just
exactly.
It would have been an even bigger slaughter, and I don't think.
I don't think they would have survived.
Through that logic, I don't believe that. I think
there is no
Goku
conceivable way that the
might
series can
have
continue.
survived if he was lucky.
He may have.
Everyone else would have
Yeah.
died.
But he would have never learned the Kaioken,
No,
and
Jack,
he-
can I just say? It would be the same kind of situation as
Actually-
future Gohan and the androids.
Well-
Like, they know he's out there, but they just can't find him.
you know what? Yeah,
They-
I have to agree because I just thought about this. Kami would have known. So
Kami
Kami
would have-
probably would have
Kami
told
might
him.
have known. No, the thing is, Kami might have known. That's depending on if King Kai tells him. Like, the only reason that King Kai has even, like,
Oh yeah.
has his influence on the Earth is
It's
because
because
he's
it-
friends with Goku.
Well, and also
Otherwise, he's had no impact. He's just let the planet evolve, and he does protect it as he does all planets in the North Galaxy because it's his fucking job.
But then again, he
if-
also doesn't do anything because it's not. If it doesn't threaten the universe, he
of
doesn't
course.
care.
If
That's
it-
why
if
he
it
didn't help with
threatens
the
his
androids.
galaxy, then he will step in.
But that's why he didn't help with the androids
why he
then,
didn't-
because the
yeah,
androids
he
only
didn't-
wanted
yeah.
Earth.
The androids didn't even want Earth. They literally just, I guess, they just wanted to
They
be.
just wanted to kill.
Yeah, they just wanted to kill for
be,
sport.
kill. It was weird. It was
No.
like 17's sense of humor.
Another topic. This is probably going to be a short
Oh.
pub.
Okay.
But let's say, what if Trunks? Because Trunks obviously had the potential to do this.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so you know how when he came back and he gave Goku the pills, right?
It gave Goku the virus medicine.
It made his future version easier, right?
Not really, because Dragon Ball Z works off a multiverse theory. So if he changes something in, say, Goku's timeline, it doesn't change anything in his.
Right.
He's just trying to make it better for the next
For them, so that
sort of.
but when he goes back in time to meet them again, like when they're going to fight the androids, he skips forward the 3-year gap that they train.
Right.
In that 3, he literally comes to see if he could help. And that's why he sticks around.
And he sticks around.
Stronger through it. That's why.
Exactly.
That's why he's able to pretty much handily beat the androids when he goes back to his own universe, well, timeline universe, whatever you want to call it. But it really has nothing to do with him giving Goku the medicine. If he hadn't met Goku, he'd have most likely.
But the reason why I say this is because in his timeline, Piccolo was dead, so there were no Dragon Balls. So, which means, and Gohan. And I don't know, Goten wasn't around, was he? Or Goten was killed?
Goten wasn't alive. Goten wasn't alive.
He was killed.
Goten was never born.
Oh, he was never born.
No, because...
Oh, yeah, because Gohan had continued to train.
Goten is born after the Cell Games, and Goku dies with a heart virus, so therefore Chi-Chi can never be pregnant with Goten.
Right. So, if everybody's dead, that means he's the only one left protecting the world. So don't you think, potentially, he would have had the power? Because he does get the Zenkai boost, even though he's,
he's a half Saiyan, I know, he gets the Zenkai boost, but that's just the thing, he only really became a Super Saiyan after Gohan died, after the person who was supposed to be teaching him all this, after he died. And therefore his training was pretty much incomplete, and only really reached its full potential after going into the hyperbolic time chamber of Vegeta. So I don't think if he hadn't gone back in time, no, I really don't think...
Yeah, he would...
So you don't think Trunks could ever be the protector?
I don't think...
I do now, after he's gone to the main timeline and come back after the Cell
That is
Game.
true, because he could always just go back in time and train.
But no, what I'm saying is, the Trunks that's about to go and give Goku the medicine, kill Frieza and King Cold, can't stand up to the androids. He's tried it multiple times.
Right, until he helps with the Cell Games and comes back stronger and does.
That's after Vegeta's trained him in the time chamber, that's after the Cell Games. It's just he's become stronger through just interacting with the present-day Z fighters.
Okay, so all that makes clear now. But think about this. If he got strong enough, right? So the reason why I guess he didn't go back in time to kill the androids when they first arrived on the planet is because by definition... But by definition, he couldn't. Do you know why? Because if he did, the time machine would have never been built, and he never would have been able to go back
to alternate universe theory, not...
Jack, that's not how Dragon Ball works. Dragon Ball works on multiverse theory, which is... Okay, imagine a line. For every decision made, another line is drawn off of that line, creating a parallel universe. Trunks is a...
You know how multiverse theory works.
I know how it works, but at the same time... He never went, but he could have gone back even to before Gohan was killed. But he could have gone back.
No, he could have, but it would have only changed the future in that universe, not the one in his.
Through logic, he could have gone back in any time.
For example, he could have gone back and stopped them, but the difference is the Gohan would only be alive in that timeline, where Gohan is now alive, where he wasn't in Trunks' timeline.
But then Piccolo would have been alive, and then...
No, because we're just talking about, okay, for example, say for example, Trunks figures out where Gohan was when he fought the androids for the last time and died. And then he uses the time machine. Let me continue, Jack.
Okay.
Then he goes back in time to that moment and helps him fight the androids. Gohan lives. It changes nothing.
No, not that. I'm saying technically he could have gone back to the
he
first day.
He could have gone back to just about any time.
Yeah, to the first day they arrived on Earth, or not arrived on Earth, I should say, when they first emerged, which means Piccolo would have never been killed, which means...
Yes, he could have, but the difference
could
is...
have, but
but
Trunks still would have been strong enough to easily just blow him away. Because he knew.
Not so much. They were actually stronger when they first emerged. Their power cells drain over a long period of time, but they never have to stop. That's why, like, he's still getting God.
Is that why 18 is a lot weaker after marrying Krillin?
You gotta think of it this way. Android 18 and 17 in Goku's timeline are much stronger because they've just emerged from their pods. They're fully charged. They're pretty much at their prime.
So,
and the androids that Trunks fights in his timeline,
But even then, he defeated He helped defeat Cell in later
Yeah,
stages.
I
So
know.
technically,
And
even if he had gone back, he should have been
what you've got to
strong enough.
what you've got to remember is the time chamber. The time chamber is key here. 1 day outside was 1 year in the chamber. So he pretty much trained for 2 years in there. That's why he was able to beat them afterwards. Because he was pretty much he's a man at this point. He's not the same scared teenager that left the future. That's why he was able to completely dominate the androids when he comes back.
Okay, and I have to ask this. Because this is another thing that just came into my mind when I said, blah, blah, blah. When
Yeah, okay.
Android 18 tried to fight, Android 17 because he was being controlled by the other Android 17. Okay, so...
Wait, GT? Yeah, I can...
That is GT.
I don't think I can give you too much information on GT.
Well, I kind of grew up watching
I
GT
can
more.
I can give you my opinion. I can certainly give you my opinions on it, but
Well, this one isn't
much
really
better
anything
versed
that's
in-
kind of like important in
I'm
fight-wise.
definitely much more versed in Dragon Ball Z than I am in GT.
And
but
I grew
will do my
up
best
watching
to understand.
GT, so that's why I know a lot about GT. But
Okay, go on. What's your question?
does Android 18 age? And if she does, is it slowed down? Or
No,
does
she does not age.
I thought they changed it so that she could age.
No, she doesn't age.
Because
well,
in the-
physically she does not age. Biologically she
Isn't she,
does.
Isn't
She
she
was-
stuck at like?
She's stuck at
20-something-ish?
being she's stuck at being physically 20, but by the time that they get released in the main timeline, this is when Trunks is given Goku the medicine and everything. She's biologically, I think she's maybe 23, 22.
So
She's in her early 20s.
so basically, her body doesn't age, but her mind does.
Her mind does, yeah. Eventually her mind would
So-
decay and she
She would
just
die
died.
of natural age.
Yeah, she would.
By
She would
definition.
eventually die, yes.
But-
Or she'll just go batshit
difference
crazy.
The
with the
reason
Trunks
why I
one-
asked if it's slowed down is because it really looks like she got older. Like her
Yes.
face has that wrinkle
it
kind of
does.
look.
Yeah, it
So
does.
that's why I asked, because
Let me
is
just
it
say one word that will
reduced?
clear this all up.
if you say anime
Toriyama.
logic, oh my god.
Non-canon.
No,
was
No,
what
no,
I-
not, I was going to say non-canon. I was going to say Toriyama because, for one thing, Toriyama completely forgot about the Saiyans having tails at one point. Hence why Trunks and Goten don't have one. He completely forgot about Launch from
He kind of
Dragon Ball.
contradicts himself a lot in the.
He does. That's
Because
why.
I don't think he gives a
Yeah.
fuck though.
Yeah, he doesn't. He makes a lot of money, and it does give him a lot of
I think
publicity.
He does care about the story that he's telling.
Well,
He
yes.
just doesn't really.
But he doesn't care about the
Don't
plot
sweat-
holes.
Don't sweat the small stuff. Is pretty much his attitude towards it.
Well, as a writer, I can appreciate.
The thing is with Android 18 and 17 is that you can't actually how would you describe their aging process? How could you do that?
I think it was
they're
slowed
creating
down,
you
though.
Decide, but you've got to do something that people will understand this makes sense. So I imagine he just didn't say anything about it, but it does appear that she is aged down quite a bit. Her physical aging is reduced quite a bit. I do agree.
And her hair grows, so I mean,
Yeah, it doesn't grow back.
And well, okay, yeah, but
No,
she
no,
technically.
she even fucking says so. It doesn't grow back. That's after Trunks pretty much cuts a fucking chunk out of it with his sword. She even says it doesn't grow back. So she can cut her hair into different styles and shit, but once it's all gone, it's gone.
Yeah, she
Bull,
just-
man,
I can't. I don't know. She looks. I mean, but she's also a cyborg.
Words, use them.
She is
Damn
a
it.
cyborg, so she
she-
isn't.
Yeah. In
So-
GT, she's. I'm gonna give you an approximate age. I think she's mentally in her maybe early
She should be
50s. Because
yeah, it's
Krillin is quite old.
Late 40s.
Krillin is really old at
Yeah.
this point in GT. Hell, Goku is really old at this point. Vegeta is really old.
Yeah, but
Difference is
Goku and
with Saiyans is
Vegeta
that-
aged
yeah,
really,
yeah,
really
they age much slower.
But okay.
Because they evolved this warrior race so that they retain their youthfulness so they can keep fighting. That's literally a quote from Vegeta at the end of Z. But if we're talking about age cycles, she's early 50s, late 40s.
Okay.
That's pretty solid time frame.
No,
And then if we're talking about Marin, she's about 17
Marin is 17.
in GT.
Don't question it.
She's
Like
about
at the
17
end of GT when the
just-
Hell
just
Saga and all
because-
that. Not Hell
Well, you got-
Saga, but
I know, Cell Saga, the whole Hell Saga. I know what you mean. But what we've got to remember is like, it may not be canon anymore.
That is true because
But let me continue. Still got to continue it based off of the main timeline. So, okay, Krillin and Android 18 pretty much fall in love immediately. I can't talk to you, Wolf, right now. I'm in a podcast. They pretty much fall in love immediately in the timeline. He saves her, he destroys the panel, and then it's a 7-year gap between the Cell Saga and the World Martial Arts Tournament where like Goten and Trunks are in it and 18's in it and everything like that. And that's so in those 7 years they had the kid with Marin, which we can just safely assume she's about maybe 3 or 4.
Mm.
Do you agree with me there?
Yes, I would.
And then you've got to factor in the gap between Kid Buu's defeat and the next World Martial Arts Tournament where Goku fights Oob, where she looks about maybe 10. And then you've got to factor in the gap between Z and GT, where Goku trains Oob in his village and then goes up to the lookout to fight him. So she is about 17, 18, or early 20s. She's around that age.
Okay.
Trying to calculate age in an anime. This shit doesn't work.
Hey, it's what makes a good conversation. Now, another thing. I know this is something that's one of those little, like, things that you kind of are supposed to overlook.
Yeah,
because, he kind of forgets. But in one episode, the episode, before, when Goku fought Cell to find out his power so he could see if Gohan could beat him, Do you remember how they came out of the hyperbolic time chamber and, Trunks had long hair?
Yeah.
And then he asked,
this isn't actually a nitpick. This has actually been said in the manga and in the show. A pure-blooded Saiyan's head does not change.
Yeah, exactly. So,
but half-blooded Saiyans, instead,
which I
their
get.
hair will grow.
But I get. But in the future, have you looked at Vegeta's hair?
Yeah, he cut it.
So is it that it will never grow back?
But grow back. For example, like Nappa, you think he'd really stay bald, even though you've seen him in, I know, unofficial source.
So then how does he grow a mustache?
No, he can grow facial hair, I'm sure he can. But it's his hair, I think it's just his hair. Like his head hair. His hair.
God damn it, both of you use your words.
But yeah, I think that's the distinguishing thing. Like, for example, I imagine if Goku were to, like, just, like, not shave or anything, I imagine he had a fucking beard.
And now I have to ask you one other thing.
Okay.
What do you think would have happened if Bulma married Goku
Okay.
and Vegeta married Chi-Chi?
Honestly, I'm gonna start off with the negatives at first, and then I'll go to the positives. First off, I honestly don't think that Vegeta and Chi-Chi would have been too compatible. I don't think that would have happened. They're too different. The only reason
Chi-Chi is very controlling.
Chi-Chi says...
Please don't interrupt me. Let me just continue my thing. But the thing is, the only reason that Goku really married Chi-Chi, even though they are still so different, is because he thought he was human at the time. He still thinks he's still pretty much human. He considers himself human, but it's just that he'd met her as a child. He truly did have feelings for her. But that's what he puts up with it all and everything. But Vegeta, he's a prince. He's too proud to be bullied, as he would say, probably.
But even Chi-Chi said herself that I think Vegeta would be a more dependable husband.
Yeah, she did, but we're talking about the Vegeta that first comes to Earth.
Oh, you mean when Bulma falls in love?
No, that's he comes to Earth the second time. The first time, this is the Vegeta that's during the Saiyan saga. Like he's a proud warrior.
Rude Vegeta.
He won't be put down by anyone. I don't think they're compatible, which is why we're talking timeline-wise, it wouldn't happen.
That is
Goku
true.
and Bulma, though, I can actually see that happening. That's
what I wanted to
Okay,
yeah, I know what you mean.
So, here's the real question. So, let's say that Vegeta and Chi-Chi can't work out. So, that's basically thrown off to the side. So, what would happen within this supposed timeline? of Goku and Bulma, actually.
Well,
Getting
Goku
here's
and Bulma,
another
I
thing.
guess technically Gohan would be born, and potentially Trunks.
No.
Potentially, because it's still Bulma. Bulma blatantly named Trunks because of the whole underwear pun.
Okay,
And
okay.
So,
But technically,
so Gohan,
just because of the genetic line,
Mhm.
it would have been because the male determines what it is that's born, right? So technically, we can assume that Gohan would have been born. But here's what
Technically,
Goten
yeah,
may have never been born,
Of
and Trunks
course,
definitely
yeah.
would have never been born. Now,
I'm fucking drawing a family tree, by the way.
Here's-
I'm fucking figuring this shit
here's what would have been really weird to think about. Gohan would have never became a scholar. He would have always kept training. Because the reason he was a scholar is because Chi-Chi drilled
because
it
she
into his
pushed
mind.
him to, because she
Exactly.
didn't want him to become like Goku.
And Trunks was born naturally smart, so if he took Bulma's natural
He was very
smarts and
smart,
mixed
and
it,
Goku's strength, he'd be half Saiyan, and I imagine
I
if
honestly
anything, he'd be
believe-
training with Goku since he was old enough.
I honestly
out.
believe
Which would put Trunks at basically the world's best fighter in that situation.
no, it would
Should
be
it?
Gohan.
It would have
Yeah.
still been Gohan. Let's just go with what Jack says for now. But yeah, what I'm saying, like he's training with Goku since like he's old enough to actually train. And for example, say Raditz still comes to Earth. He still tries to kidnap Gohan. Gohan's still not strong
Like the
enough
whole
because
technical
he's
storyline
still-
up until the
like,
androids
and-
would have happened, but
Yeah, it would have, but it would
Gohan
be
would have been strong enough because he wouldn't have stopped training ever. He
Can I just-
would because he surpassed his son.
May I?
Yeah.
May I? Okay, I forgot my point. Thank you, Jack. Like for example, like Raditz still comes to Earth. Gohan still isn't strong. He's stronger, but he's not strong enough to stand up to Raditz. Neither is Goku because not much has changed.
And Piccolo would still be there, so
Piccolo would still be there, yeah, but I imagine that Gohan may have been a little bit easier to train during the years gap between between Raditz's death and Vegeta and Nappa arriving. And then during the Namek saga, because like they're obviously going to go to Namek, assuming that Tien, Yamcha, Chaozu, Piccolo, they die still. The main difference I think is that Piccolo and Gohan wouldn't have that connection still. Like Gohan was really innocent when Piccolo took him in, and he pretty much looked to Piccolo as an uncle figure.
yes, but at the
I
same
don't think.
time,
I think it because since Gohan would be
training.
so not so much rougher, or his heart would have been harder. I don't know, but he wouldn't have been as innocent. He wouldn't have been as willing to be Piccolo's friend. That's what I'm saying, because he would have heard the stories about Goku fighting Piccolo during the martial arts tournament. I don't think that connection would
But
exist.
we would have to
But
assume
still,
that.
that the events on Namek still happened. I imagine.
Yeah,
that
and we would have to
things would
assume
change
that the same thing still happened
But
where
Snake
Piccolo
was the
took him
answer.
because not Chi-Chi, Bulma still
Bulma.
wouldn't been able to have trained him, so he probably still on his own would have took it upon him to take him and do the
Maybe,
same
yeah.
thing. So
Yes,
by
he would have. Piccolo would-
definition, I still think Piccolo would have took him.
All right, out of
Okay, he would have took him, but the precious relationship that main timeline Gohan has with Piccolo would not exist.
out
But
of
if we're going to the Namek saga, all of these events we can assume would still be exactly the same. Maybe Gohan's able to take on Rikum a little bit more. But once it gets to the Android saga, that's a whole different kettle of fish, because since Trunks doesn't exist at all, he can't come back to give Goku the medicine, which means Goku dies of the heart virus, and since
Hold
Gohan
it.
has no one to train, yeah.
we would put this into the situation, but with Bulma still being the mother, you can still make
There is a
the
chance of
inference that
Trunks.
she would
Yeah,
still
yeah.
make it
Oh, sorry,
it
brain fart.
another
Sorry,
child
yeah,
would
Yeah,
be
I'm
born,
sorry.
even if
Yeah.
Gohan would go back.
even if
Right.
Gohan were to get back, or Gohan were to die to the androids, which is probably most likely.
But
Because,
again, he
like-
still would have constantly had the ability to train.
Yes, of course he would, but we've
Alright.
got to remember is that
Or-
after the reason that Gohan is strong enough to take on Cell, or hell, even the androids in the main timeline, is because he had Goku training him during the three-year gap between Trunks appearing and the androids appearing, and then you've got the year in the hyperbolic time chamber where he trained him to become a Super Saiyan and everything like that. I imagine that he wouldn't be able to transform. He would have the emotional pull. he just wouldn't be physically strong enough at that time to do it. And since there's no Trunks or no, say, Gohan dummy, Gohan dies, Trunks becomes a Super Saiyan because of the emotional loss, he's strong enough. Like that, I imagine it would just be. It's just really up to speculation after the Android Saga. I don't think the Boo Saga would happen at all.
All right, let's get some numbers here. What's the time period between Raditz showing up to Earth and then
say Vegeta arriving.
A year.
yeah? Well, all right,
1
so a
year.
year. So his birth about then. So I'm gonna mute my mic.
So honestly, actually, I do understand
let
how
me do
it
an
works.
equation here.
Because Trunks is older than Goten, right?
By about a year, yeah.
Okay, so by definition, it would have still happened.
What
Because
would've-
Goten
Boo
would
Saga.
have never been born, but Trunks would have been born. Because Goten wouldn't have been born quick enough, but Trunks would have. So the future saga should have still took place.
It would still take place, but it
But
would have
Goten
been
wouldn't have ever
different.
existed.
It would still be very. We got to think of it this way, like this is the Trunks you're talking about is the potential child of Vegeta and Chi-Chi.
Mhm.
Yeah, that he wouldn't be, mainly because Bulma, the whole name thing. It would have been like someone potentially the same, but it wouldn't be Trunks, is what we're talking. So let's just call them Shin, because boring name. I know, but
So Shin
say Shin, like Gohan takes Shin under his wing, trains him. Say Gohan still dies in the future. The difference is like Shin can transform into a Super Saiyan.
And Bulma still would have been
after-
alive. Because
Bulma would
Bulma
still been
survived.
alive, and it would have gone back, and he would have told, and say Shin gives Goku the medicine, which it would have still happened, but I still think that
So
would
it
have been
basically
different.
would have
The
been the
fights
same
would have been
thing,
much
but with a
easier.
different person.
the fights would have been much easier, mainly with Gohan's much more. Well,
Yeah, because
he's
Gohan
much
would have
more
never
willing
stopped
to
training.
train. He's much more
Especially,
willing to train.
especially in GT, Gohan would have took on the role because technically, if all these events still did happen, Gohan would have
Goku
never
still-
stopped training because
And
he
Goku would have
he would
still
have never had
died.
that. Yeah, so
Goku still died at
Gohan
the end
would
of the
have
Cell
taken
Saga.
on the role of
Yeah, he
the
would have.
protector.
Yeah, Goku still dies at the end of the Cell Saga, but during those 7 years,
He would
Gohan
still
does
train.
not stop training.
Yeah, because he
Means that
wouldn't have
Majin
had
Buu
the
just
scholar
wouldn't-
idea.
At that point, Majin Buu wouldn't be a problem at all.
Yeah, Majin Buu
And
would have been
everything would have gone so smoothly, he wouldn't have even needed,
That is
say,
true,
El Kai
because-
to unlock his potential, because he's been training all that time to unlock it himself.
And even then, it would have
And even
made sense
after that-
because the reason why Buu got so strong is because Goku wanted to see more power from him, and so did Vegeta. So they were naive to let him get stronger, when honestly, if Gohan had been as strong as he should have been, he would have just blasted Buu. He would have been serious, because while Goku and
Yeah, of
Vegeta
course.
have the thrill of
If we're
battle,
talking about- yeah, no, Gohan can see the bigger picture. This is dangerous. It needs to die. That's the
Exactly.
kind of mentality
and
he
the
would have
same
had.
thing that Trunks
And
had
that's-
when he
and
killed
those
Cell
seven-
and
Of course, yeah. Like, I am at... Okay, how about a question for you two, then? What would happen if Trunks, we're talking future Trunks, from his timeline, came back during the Buu Saga? So, like, let's say assist with Majin Buu.
or you mean Shin?
No, we're talking like main timeline Trunks. Future Trunks, long hair, sword, jacket, Super Saiyan. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Him, say he came back to help during the main timeline Majin Buu saga.
Wait, this
What-
is a different topic, right?
Different topic, yes.
Okay, so we established that Gohan would have protected the world then?
Yeah, we've established that Gohan would have been able to protect the world easily if he had been willing to train, thanks to Bulma being able to supply him with that equipment.
Yeah, because that's true. The hyperbolic time chamber still existed, and the
And of course-
gravity canister still existed.
Yep. So he would still be able to train constantly throughout those 7 years, I agree. Now, onto the topic of future Trunks comes back during the Buu saga, say for a visit or whatever, and he ends up helping during the Majin Buu saga.
Mhm.
What do you imagine would happen?
He didn't come back.
No, he didn't. But what would you think would happen if he did?
I think he would have gone back to his future timeline still, because he's the protector of his future
Of course,
timeline.
Yes, he would have gone back, but I'm talking about the events between
I
say,
think
Kid Buu's death and
I think if he had
Majin Buu's
helped,
awakening.
he would have got beat once by Majin Buu, because he would have tried to take him on
Same
once
way
and kill him.
the same way that Gohan did. I agree.
Yeah. But he will get beat, and then he'd get his Zenkai boost. And I think because he would get beat down so much, because Boo wouldn't want to kill him, because Boo still wants the challenge and the fun out of it, and he would have wanted to absorb him rather than kill him. I'm pretty sure
depends
Trunks would
on
have
the
ran
Boo.
away.
Dude, it depends. It really depends on the Boo. If we're talking Fat Boo, I imagine he would have just toyed with him eventually, but then he would have eventually killed him.
But the
So
thing
if we're
is
talking Super Boo, then
if
yeah,
they're toying with him, yeah, but they still wouldn't kill him in time because Fat Boo, he would have ran away. Super Boo, he would have tried to devour him, so he would let him live. And then Kid Boo, would have tried to kill him, but Kid Boo technically would have never came to be at that point then, because I believe he would get beat, get that Zenkai boost, and run. And he would train to the hyperbolic time chamber for a day. And I
Actually, he can't. He can't go to the time chamber.
Why?
There's a 2-day limit. He's been in there for 2 days already during the Cell Saga.
Wait, you can only go to it 2 days?
2 days
your
at a
life?
time. Then and then the door closes. It won't open for you ever again. You can even be closed on the other side.
But wait, how many times did Goku go in then?
Goku went in there for about, I think, 10 minutes when he was a kid. And then he spent about a day in there with Gohan.
But he could even go back in there still.
He could, yeah, but but Goku doesn't believe that that's the same as training. If he even said, if you want to torture your body in there, then be my guest, but that's not the same as training. Yes, he got much stronger from it, but it wasn't the same.
Wait, so how come he could go in multiple times then?
Because he only went in for 10 minutes as a kid, which is maybe... I can't remember what the exact multiplier is. I think,
So basically, he
Like,
would
the
have still
time
had
chamber
time.
10 minutes inside the time chamber. I think 10 minutes is about an hour outside. No, not even that. No, not even that.
It would be longer.
No, it would be shorter, much shorter. I think maybe 10 minutes would have been like half an hour, something like that.
Huh.
I don't know the exact multiplier. I think that Team Forza has it on one of their episodes. Like Mr. Popo says something about it being inside the That's it. But time moves 0.365% slower. No, 0.365% times the speed of this dimension.
So
In
10
Goku
minutes.
In Goku terms, 1 day in there. No, 1 year in there, 1 day out here.
No. Okay, so he went in there for 10 minutes, right?
She went for it as a kid. It's just kind of reference.
Okay,
It's
well,
just kind
1
of
hour
pushed
equals 15 days, 5 hours, and 14 minutes. So technically, divide that by 6, he would have been in there for at least... Because 1 minute is 6 hours.
10 minutes in the chamber. He was in his time. He was in there for about 10 minutes. Goku's time in okay.
In the
Goku's
real
chamber.
world, yeah.
In the real world, it would have maybe passed maybe 5 minutes outside. But he was in there for 10 minutes in there. I don't know the exact multiplier, but he was not in there long.
Yeah, I'm looking at the multiplier. 1 year in the time chamber equals 1 day in the real world, right?
Yeah.
1 hour in the real world equals 15 days, 5 hours, and 10 minutes in the time chamber.
So 10 minutes in the chamber equals how long outside?
Well, 6 minutes in the time chamber equals 1 second.
Outside?
Yes.
Alright, because if we're going by the time chambers kind of logic thing, you've got to remember the Buu saga, where Piccolo pretty much led Majin Buu to the time chamber but took a longer route so that the boys would have longer to train.
So you're saying that you can only go in there once?
2 days. 2 days. You can go in there for about 2
2
years. 2 years. 2 years in the chamber, 2 days out the chamber.
Okay, because Goku 2 to Vegeta, I'm just looking at the statistics. Okay, I guess that would make sense.
Okay, so here's my theory on the whole Trunks thing. The future Trunks would have withdrawn from the martial arts tournament to let his younger counterpart join the tournament. And then, say, for example, all the same thing happens, what are their names? Yamu and... I've forgotten the big dude's name. Spopovich. Yamu and Spopovich attack Gohan at the same time, absorb his energy, and then take it back to Babidi. I imagine it would have been very different with Trunks at this side, because Vegeta, knowing that Trunks is there, he would resist Babidi's mind control, and if not, even if he did still go through to it, that would be the point where Gohan and Trunks go to fight Majin Buu with the Supreme Kai. Goku and Vegeta still fight. Goku he still knocks him out. The difference is we now have two potential Potara fusions or fusion dance partners instead. For example, you'd get like I don't know what you'd call Trunks of a Gohan or Gohan of the Trunks. I don't know what you'd call that, but I still don't imagine like so. For example, Gohan still releases the Z Sword. Trunks would still be able to train with it as well. They both have their potentials released. Majin Buu is no threat at all.
Exactly.
Considering that Gohan got cocky when he was fighting him, Trunks would not have that problem. Trunks would push him along and keep fighting and kill him. Because he knows the threat that power like that has. Like, for example, he's lived with it his whole life. 17, 18, Cell, all these characters in his own timeline. So, I don't even think that Super Buu would have been a thing once Gohan and Trunks got the potential release.
Exactly, they would just kill them.
Super Buu would have been a thing. Kid Buu wouldn't. They'd have just killed him there and then. It wouldn't have even been hard. I don't think the fusion dance would have even been necessary, but they would have still had the fight between Gotenks and Buu would have still occurred because they had to hold them off while Gohan was training.
How come?
Okay.
I can't even think about it.
Okay, should we end the podcast?
Yeah, this is a good end, but yeah, this was a Dragon Ball Z topic, and hey guys, if you want more of this is actually pretty fun, and there's just so much world to Dragon Ball Z we could explore. Like, we barely even scratched the surface, Jamie.
We really haven't, I know. Ugh.
Like, we got into a little bit of non-canon, then we got into, like, actual canon, and we're like, there's still so much more. We didn't even get into filler stuff.
We didn't. I think I kind of just skewed us away from that on purpose because this video would have been like 5 times longer if we'd gone into filler. Anyway,
what we need to do is we need to review a power grid.
Have you stopped recording?
No. Okay.
Hi!
Thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Blah blah blah. Have a good day, and I'll see you later. This is the podcast, and